In the dimly lit garage of the Healer house, sunlight barely filters through a small window, illuminating stacks of old boxes and forgotten junk. Bandit rummages through one of the boxes, searching for something from his past. He pulls out a large cardboard box adorned with flashing lights, wires, and a dial resembling an old clock. It's a homemade time machine he built as a kid for pretend time travel games. The box looks worn, with darkened corners as if it had been stored for decades. Bluey and her younger sister Bingo run into the garage drawn by the noise. Bluey climbs inside the box, twisting knobs and pressing buttons, imagining a far-off adventure. Chili walks in and warns them not to touch the old thing, but Bluey doesn't stop. The lights flash with blinding brightness, a low hum sounds, and the screen fills with static. Bluey vanishes right before the family's eyes. Bandit shouts her name, Bingo cries. Chili searches the garage frantically. A second later, another flash and Bluey reappears in the same spot looking confused. She mumbles about a place far from home, but the family dismisses it as imagination. The dial on the box spins on its own and a thin crack appears on one wall. The screen darkens. Bluey finds herself in a dense prehistoric forest, where massive ferns sway in the wind. Shadows of pterodactyls soar in the sky, and a volcano erupts on the horizon with plumes of smoke. The air is filled with echoes resembling distorted voices. Bluey looks around in confusion, calling for her family, but her voice is drowned out by the rustling foliage. Trees shift slightly as if watching, and the ground vibrates from the steps of unseen creatures. A small velociraptor bursts from the bushes, staring curiously, its eyes flickering like the time machine's lights. Behind it come triceratopses, brachiosaurs, and a massive tyrannosaurus. They move unnaturally, their steps looping like glitched animation. The dinosaurs surround Bluey, ferns bending to form a path deeper into the jungle. Bluey follows, thinking it's a game, but notices changes. With each blink, the volcano draws closer, the sky darkens, and the dinosaurs grow larger. They emerge into a clearing with the same time machine, now covered in moss and vines as if it had stood there for millions of years. The dial shows symbols of dinosaurs, arrows spinning backward. Bluey tries to activate it, but trees close in, blocking the way. The dinosaurs start a chase with rules that shift constantly. The velociraptor whispers of a forgotten world where time loops endlessly, and those who enter get stuck repeating forever. Bluey runs, paths leading nowhere, sounds turning into echoes of tunes from home. Bluey reaches the machine, twisting the knob desperately. Light flashes, but before it the forest merges with the garage, dinosaurs become shadows of the family, and Bluey's reflection shows reptilian eyes and scales through her fur. The flash blinds and Bluey returns to the garage. The family hugs her, assuring her she was gone only a second. Everyone leaves laughing. The garage empties, the box comes to life briefly. Lights flicker, the dial speeds up, and a tiny fossilized dinosaur tooth appears on the floor. Bluey returns alone, picks it up and looks in the mirror. Her reflection distorts, eyes turn yellow with slit pupils. She blinks and it's normal. The screen fills with static, the sound becomes a distant roar, and the episode cuts off abruptly. Early morning, the Healer house is quiet. Outside the light is soft but strangely dim. Bingo wakes up in her bed. Everything looks normal, but the house is too quiet. Only the ticking of a clock can be heard. She goes downstairs. The living room is empty. The TV is off. Toys are scattered as if someone had just been playing but suddenly disappeared. The kitchen is empty too. Dad isn't making pancakes and Mum isn't preparing tea. A plate with a half-eaten piece of toast sits on the table and a mug is half full. There's no steam rising from it. Bingo calls out, "Mum!" "Dad!" "Bluey!" But her voice sounds muffled like through a pillow. There's no echo. She walks down the hallway. The floor creaks under her paws. Bluey's room is empty. The bed is neatly made with a bow on the pillow. Her drawings hang on the wall, but some are torn or scratched out with black lines. The floor begins to tremble slightly. Bingo goes to the bathroom. At first, her reflection in the mirror matches her movements, but then it starts to lag behind. Then it begins moving on its own. It tilts its head and smiles. Bingo stares at it for a few seconds, then quickly turns away and runs. On the stairs, she glimpses a figure running through the hallway on the opposite side of the house. It looks like Bluey, but its movements are jerky like a broken toy. The door it disappeared behind is locked when she reaches it. She goes outside. The grass is grey. There are no shadows. In the distance stands Bluey, facing away. Bingo approaches, but the figure vanishes with a soft click. There's no wind, no birds, complete silence. On the spot where Bluey stood, only her collar remains. Bingo walks into her parents' bedroom. The light is ashen. Mum and Dad lie on the bed. They don't move. Their eyes are open and unblinking. Bingo touches Dad's paw. He turns his head, but his eyes stay glassy. His mouth is slightly open, but no sound comes out. Mum seems to whisper something, but her lips don't move. Bingo is back in her room. She sits on the bed and hugs her stuffed bear. A quiet voice whispers her name from the corner, softer and softer. She looks, only her toy is there. A shadow appears on the floor, as if someone is standing directly behind her, but when she turns around, no one's there. The nightlight on the wall flickers. Outside the window, a silhouette appears shaped like Bluey, moving in jittery, unnatural motions like an old film. The silhouette suddenly rushes toward the window. The light in the room goes out. After silence, Bingo is back in bed. Everything seems calm. Mum enters and strokes her head. She says, "Time to wake up." Bingo doesn't respond. Her eyes are open. In the background, a mirror shows no reflection of Mum. The scene freezes. Several seconds of stillness. Then the screen shows Bluey's empty room. A TV in the corner is on, flashing a black and white image of the family sitting at a table. Their heads are bowed. The picture flickers and vanishes. The final shot, the closet door in Bingo's room is slightly ajar. Breathing can be heard from inside. There is no voiceover, no credits, only silence. And then slowly the image of Bingo's stuffed bear left on the floor appears on the screen. What happened next is unknown. Bluey opened her eyes. Sunlight filled the room, streaming through the familiar curtains. Her gaze darted to the door. Bingo sat on the floor, calmly gathering toys, her voice chiming. "Bluey, let's play Shadow Hunters." The same words, the same cheerful tone. Bluey's heart plummeted. It was the same morning. Again. She remembered yesterday, every single moment. How she woke up, how Bingo called her, how they went to play Shadow Hunters. And then, she remembered. The bushes, the cold, the feeling that no one was looking for her. It had happened again. And again. Bluey tried to stifle the rising terror. She had to change something. "No, Bingo!" The words caught in her throat, but she forced them out. Let's play Chasey instead." She hoped a different game would break the chain. Bingo tilted her head slightly, blinked. "Oh, okay. I'm it." Familiar words, spoken with a new chilling precision. And Bingo ran towards the backyard. Bluey bolted after her, at first feeling a faint flicker of hope. They ran around the garden, Bingo's laughter sounding as it always did, but to Bluey it became a distant, unsettling chime. She tried not to look at that corner where the trees and bushes intertwined into a dark mass. Then, inevitably, she felt a sharp pain in her paw, tripping over an unseen obstacle. Her body hit the ground. The familiar smell of old leaves and damp earth filled her nostrils. She lay there gasping, feeling the cold seep into her bones. The same bushes surrounded her, the same tangled branches. And silence. Bingo didn't call for her. No one called for her. Bluey lifted her head, her gaze involuntarily drawn to the furthest corner of the garden. There, barely discernible amidst the deepening shadows yet utterly real, sat that same pale, gaunt silhouette with huge empty eye sockets. It simply watched. She lay there, feeling the icy chill penetrate her very core. She wasn't being searched for, no one was looking, just like yesterday, just like the day before. The loop tightened and Bluey understood she was trapped within it forever. From the very beginning, everything seems normal. The family is going on a picnic to a new park they supposedly found on a map. Chili says it's a quiet place with no crowds. Bandit is driving, Bluey and Bingo are in the back seat, playing a guessing game on the way. When they arrive, the parking lot is empty. The park looks neat but strangely silent. The trees are tall and identical and they don't move, not even in the wind. The playground is old but clean. The park's sign has no letters, just faded outlines. They lay out the picnic blanket and Chili unpacks the food. Everything seems calm. But when Bluey goes into the bushes to get a ball, she suddenly notices a swing set behind the trees. She hadn't seen it before. The swing is moving by itself. No one is around. When Bluey comes back, she asks, "Did you hear a bell?" Chili replies, "No, sweetie, it's very quiet here." Bandit goes for a walk along a trail but doesn't come back for a long time. The air in the park grows heavier. The colors begin to fade. Evening falls. Bingo says she saw a boy waving to her from the playground. Bluey goes to check the playground is empty. There are footprints in the sand, but they don't look like paw prints. The tracks lead into the woods. Bandit returns. He says nothing, just sits down and stares into the distance. His face is smudged like with ash. Chili places a paw on his shoulder. He doesn't react. It gets darker. Bluey walks toward the swings. No one is around, but as she approaches, she hears a child's laugh faint like an echo. She looks at the swing. On it lies her own hair clip, though it had been in her fur. When Bluey turns around, no one is there. Her family is gone. Lights blink on at the playground, though they weren't there during the day. The sandbox is empty, but inside is a drawing. It looks like Bingo's work. A house, a tree, and a dark, faceless figure drawn in black. Bluey walks into the forest. Everything looks the same. The trees repeat endlessly. She calls for Chili and Bandit, but only Rustling answers. At one point, she sees a light between the trees. It's the playground again, exactly as it was at the start. On the swing sits Bingo. She turns, smiles, and says, "But we just got here." Behind her, a shadow, tall, shapeless. Final shot, the picnic basket forgotten on the blanket. The food untouched. In the distance, someone says, "Well, shall we play again?"